Welcome to the Pharmacy Podcast Show. You are listening to the first and only podcast dedicated to the business of pharmacy. Hear from independent pharmacy owners, leading entrepreneurs, political strategists, healthcare technology trends, career coaching, interviews about our pharmacy industry, and more. Be sure to subscribe to the show via iTunes and leave us a voice comment from our contact section on the website. You can find all of our episodes at pharmacypodcast.com.
Hi, I'm Blair Thielemier of Pharmapreneur Academy, and I am so excited to welcome you to today's episode of the Pharmacy Podcast Show. Today on the Pharmacy Podcast, I have Shantel Houston. Shantel is a fourth-year pharmacy student at the University of South Florida College of Pharmacy, and I'm so excited to share with you her story about how we became friends and how her rotations and her interest in entrepreneurship and pharmacy consulting has led her to me and also to the Elevate Pharmacy Virtual Summit, which we will soon be relaunching in a special encore presentation in September. So Shantel, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me, Blair.
So can you tell the listeners to the Pharmacy Podcast Show, how did you first find out about this summit? We launched it in April. I know you've been super busy on rotations. You just did an amazing rotation with APHA headquarters in DC. So can you tell us a little bit about what led you to finding the summit and to finding this information?
Yeah, definitely. So actually one of my projects at APHA was related to payment and all the different ways pharmacists are currently being paid for providing clinical services. So I was doing research on chronic care management, transitional care management, and I actually ran across one of your articles through your website. And that's how I actually discovered, the Pharmapreneur Academy and everything that you're doing. And I was reading more into it. And, so then I reached out to you and I was like, this is very interesting. How do I get involved? What can I do? Entrepreneurship has definitely been something that I've been interested in since I started pharmacy school. I did an internship with NCPA last summer, and I really learned about ownership. And that was one part of entrepreneurship that I'm very familiar with. And now after coming across your website, I have been introduced to all the other different opportunities as far as entrepreneurship and pharmacy goes. So definitely piqued my interest, and I'm excited now to be involved with the summit.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. So, my goal for the summit was actually creating something that could help both independent community pharmacy owners and independent consultants. So the chronic care management articles and episodes that you talked about, one of the interviews was with the consultant pharmacist, Michelle Thomas. She works in a family practice and she offers annual wellness visits, chronic care management services, transitional care management services, and a lot of other really interesting types of pharmacist-led clinical services. And then I also interviewed Amina Abubakar, who owns RX Clinic Pharmacy in Charlotte, North Carolina, and they are just doing absolutely amazing things out in North Carolina in the area of chronic care management. I've also interviewed Marianne Clathermis. She talked about the ability for pharmacists to impact physician quality measures. So I think that was a really important point to highlight when we're talking about chronic care management, is that when pharmacists are doing chronic care management, we're always keeping in the back of our minds that this is going to be impacting the physician quality measures of that practice that we're helping offer these services for. So under a collaborative practice agreement, pharmacists would go in, they would be doing monthly phone calls through the practice and really focusing on that clinic's quality measures. So Marianne just knows a ton about the physician quality measure and the changes with MACRA and how the performance-based incentive payment model is really changing the game for a lot of small independent physician clinics. So that was an amazing interview.
Yeah, it was actually. I actually heard that one, and one of the interesting things she said was that physicians are actually looking for good pharmacists to partner with. So if we're looking, if they're looking, that means that there's a demand there. So there's definitely opportunity to to have some success in those areas, partnering with physicians.
I know. I couldn't believe it when she said that. I was like, of course they are. Of course physicians are hearing more about this and hearing about how pharmacists can help. And they are, they're wanting pharmacists to step up and offer this help, whether it's a consultant or a pharmacy owner offering these services out of their community pharmacy. It's really, really exciting what other people are doing.
Definitely.
So one of the other topics you mentioned was in entrepreneurship and marketing. So can you tell me a little bit about any certain videos or speakers that really spoke to you on those topics?
Yeah, sure. So as a student pharmacist, I have a lot of experience with marketing as far as, all the student organizations that I'm involved in. I'm known as like the flyer girl at my college, actually, because I make a lot of flyers for all the organizations, even for organizations that I'm not a part of, that I have friends in that ask me to help. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I teach people how to make flyers. I actually did marketing for Emory University Athletic Department in undergrad. So marketing is definitely something that I'm interested in. But, nonetheless, I still listened to the digital marketing video, and I was still, blown away by all the things that I learned about when it comes to marketing for pharmacy.
I think that one thing that really struck me about that interview was when Azim said that only 5% of community pharmacies were using email marketing as a marketing channel versus when you look at other industries, more like 40% of businesses are using email as a marketing channel for their business. So I agree. I thought that was very interesting. And it made me wonder, why aren't pharmacies utilizing email marketing more in their marketing strategy? I mean, it's one of the cheapest, easiest ways to market things.
Right. And, I think a big thing is just having owners just understand what's out there or just learn about what's out there. As owners wear many hats when it comes to marketing, when it comes to services, when it comes to HR. There's a lot of things that owners have to do. And I guess marketing is one of those things that have, gone to the wayside. But it's definitely important as far as driving traffic. He has some good things to say about, just collecting those emails when the patients check out. Mm-hmm. Something as simple as that, and just making sure that you're communicating with the patients through email on a weekly basis so they know what's going on. Targeting patients based on disease states, based on maybe possible classes the pharmacy offers. There's a lot of good information for sure.
Yeah. And, one thing that I always tell pharmacists when they join the academy is you don't have to spend a ton of money in marketing to really make something amazing. Like you and I have talked about this before. You mentioned making flyers, and Canva is, that's my tip for anyone listening to the Pharmacy Podcast right now and wondering how the heck do I make a flyer? Go to canva.com and sign up with a free account. And it literally walks you through, and it makes it super, super easy to create really, really professional and nice looking flyers.
Yes, I could not agree more. Canva has definitely saved my life. Starting off marketing, when I first started this, I used to use Microsoft Word, and people didn't understand how I would use Word over Photoshop. And I was like, first of all, Photoshop is way too advanced for me at all.
Mm-hmm,
I'm not familiar with Photoshop. Microsoft Word was easier, but there's a lot that you have to, get used to as far as text boxes go. Adding fonts could be difficult, and adding text where you want to. Whereas Canva, they have everything. They have the backgrounds there. They have icons. They have text. They have things that you can just add. You can add pictures. It's very seamless, and it's free.
Yeah, and I'm not a designer, so I go in and find a template that I like the way it looks, and I just change the colors to my branding colors and change the words, and that's pretty much it. So Shantel's also going to help me with some of my graphics and some of the social media stuff for when we relaunch the Elevate Pharmacy Summit in September, because definitely not one of my strengths. And so speaking of the Elevate Pharmacy Summit, we are relaunching for another 5 free days, September 15th through the 19th of 2017. And I'm really excited to provide this free access. I think it's important for busy pharmacists and for students to be able to access this information. And like you and I talked about, the virtual conference aspect is something that I really wanted to bring. The quality of the speakers that are on these interviews are people that I've literally seen up on stage at the big pharmacy conferences and brought into your house for, viewing at your own leisure time. So during those 5 free days, can you talk a little bit about, what that means for a busy student that's in the middle of their P4 rotations to be able to access this information and the ideas of some of the true pharmacy leaders that's going on right now in a virtual medium for free on their own time?
Well, it definitely means a lot. As pharmacy students, it's hard to take off days from rotations. Even once you do take off those days, like myself, I'm coming back from a conference that was just in Vegas. I took off days to go to that, but I still need a few days, just to adjust to the time, just to get back into the swing of things. So having it online, I think is definitely such an innovative concept. It's with the times, everything's online, everything's virtual. And I think it just makes it easier overall. Just makes the process easier. It's definitely a conference where if you are interested in attending, it's because you have an interest in the things that are being discussed. So, so why not just log on to the computer? For me personally, what I did was I downloaded all of the sessions onto my iPod. So when I'm traveling, when I was in DC during my rotation, I had a commute that was about 40 minutes in the morning and in the evening. So I would listen to those on the way to work and learn a lot, take notes on my notes app on the train. And it was just efficient. It was a very efficient way of gaining information, and it really didn't add on time to my day because it was during my commute. So like, what else could I be doing? Maybe playing Candy Crush. But I think listening to your summit was definitely more worthwhile.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to make sure that the All Access Pass members had was MP3 downloads that they could take and listen to on the go. So we've also given everyone that is an All Access Pass holder transcriptions of the summit. Those are available in the member dashboard. And then also what we've done since April, I've had all of those interviews transcribed and we've put them together in, I don't know, have I showed you this yet, Shantel? We're on video for everyone that's listening, but we have put together the Virtual Summit Program workbook, and it has all of those interview transcription, and it is available on Amazon for anyone that wants more information about that.
Yeah, it looks like a very helpful book, like all the secrets in one place.
Yeah, it's nice because, for me, like I want to be taking notes. Like you said, when you were listening to him, I want to be taking notes. So it's just kind of an easy way to highlight certain points as you're going along, something like that. So I need to send you a copy of that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another thing with the in-person meetings. When you go to those meetings, I find myself taking notes on paper. And, because I don't want to be rude or want to be seen as rude during the conference, taking notes on my phone. So I tend to take them on paper. But then I realize when I do leave those conferences, I'm very fulfilled as far as, what I've learned. But then all these paper notes that I have kind of get lost. You kind of lose them. And it's like, well, yeah, I learned some cool things. Maybe I'll use it one day. But, then time goes by and you don't know where those notes are. So, that can be another challenge as far as, the in-person meetings. Whereas now with your summit, like I said, on my phone, I have all the notes in one place. And it just makes it easier. And if you have the book, you can highlight, you can circle, you can, really, hone in on the things that you took out the most from the interviews.
And hopefully retain that information and move forward on those ideas. That's the goal of the summit, was really to share ideas about what's working in pharmacy, what the innovative entrepreneurs are doing. Was there a specific topic or a specific video that really spoke to you and, gave you that sense of, oh, that, I'd never seen it that way before. I never thought of it that way before.
Yeah, definitely. So more of the back office things like the digital marketing talk. He presented a really just good, like simple ideas, but good, effective ways to increase traffic or to target patients through marketing. I think that's very important as a small business owner. You have to find a way to get word out there about your services. Another one that I found really interesting was the productivity, the efficiency and productivity interview. What the aha moment, I guess, for that video was when the speaker said that you shouldn't be stepping over phone cords in the pharmacy. And then that reflects on my own personal experience in an independent pharmacy that I work at, where we are definitely stepping over phone cords in the pharmacy. The fact that if you're running into other people when you're trying to accomplish a task, then there's something that has to be done about the workflow. And these are things that we don't think about, as far as adjusting workflow, making things more efficient in the pharmacy. Because I know pharmacy owners already don't have enough time. So if there's areas where you can maximize on time or, minimize the amount of time that it takes to do certain things, I think those are little steps that you can make to definitely improve or boost productivity in the pharmacy. So I thought those were interesting. And also the cash-based services were interesting to learn about as well. Because I know with pharmacists, one of the things that is a barrier for us is getting paid for providing clinical services. So if you have patients that are willing to pay cash for like weight loss clinics or hormone testing, things that can definitely be beneficial to them, and things that pharmacists can offer right in the community, those programs I think are definitely exciting to learn about because there are companies out there that do help pharmacies do these things. So when I heard about the weight loss clinic, I'm like, well, I don't know anything about weight loss. But then during the talk, she speaks about a program that sets everything up. They do all the work. They, put on the programs, the educational sessions, the materials, they send it, and the pharmacy, just has to run the program. So, learning about programs like that and how people are actually doing them and doing them successfully, I found very helpful.
I think that, it's definitely important to note too that the pharmacist doesn't have to do all of this stuff on their own. So there's other support staff members that are helping these pharmacists with the clinical services. And I think that's really what I'd like to focus on too, in the 2018 summit is process controls and looking at clinical services from an efficiency standpoint, because the number one thing besides how do I bill for my services that I hear is I don't have time to do this. And, the way that these other pharmacists that I've interviewed on the summit are being able to move around this is really utilizing their technicians and utilizing their clinical support staff members and utilizing their whole team. I mean, these are resources. And Brian and I, the industrial engineer that talked about the phone cord limbo, we talked about your employees as being one of your most valuable resources as well, and how to use those people efficiently. So I think that that's, definitely a good point to make. And I did enjoy so much shooting these videos, and I'm going to enjoy putting on the 2018 Pharmacy Summit too. Yeah, I'll be recording that very, very soon. And, and I hope pharmacists, pharmacy owners, and pharmacy students will join us on the 2017 Summit Encore presentation. So just a reminder, everyone can go register for that. It's going to be free September 15th through the 19th, 2017. To register, you just go to elevatepharmacysummit.com and enter your best email address. Then you should be able to access via email. As soon as we go live on those days, I'll send out an email. You'll be able to click the link and go straight to the videos to view them. So, Shantel, do you have anything that you want to add for maybe the pharmacy students that are out there listening and thinking, how am I going to fit one more thing into my crazy schedule?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a student pharmacist myself, I know their time is always an issue, but we make time for what's important. And if there's any student out there who's interested in entrepreneurship, interested in ownership, just learning about all the different opportunities there are in pharmacy beyond what, pharmacy school teaches us, this is a great way to find out. For me, I'm just like the type of person who I know where I want to get. So I'm trying to figure out how to get there. So if you're also that type of person, the virtual summit is definitely a good start, a good way to see what all these successful pharmacists are doing, how they're doing it. And, you get to learn a lot.
Yeah. And, once you join, you'll get also a link to join us in the Elevate Pharmacy Virtual Summit Facebook group. So that's kind of our way of providing a networking piece to a virtual conference. So we would love to have you join us and come talk to us in the Facebook group. We'll continue conversations about the summit. I'd love to hear what your favorite topics are and what other topics you would like for us to explore in the 2018 summit. So thank you so much, Shantel, for being here with me today on the Pharmacy Podcast Show.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to working with you.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Pharmacy Podcast Show. Be sure to subscribe to the show and send us a voice message with your ideas and comments from our contact section on the website. Did you know we develop digital health content to assist with business development and marketing efforts? Learn how we can help you drive more patients, physicians, and targeted leads to your website. Contact us today at pharmacypodcast.com.